think it's weird that Bree, her hairstylist, and both her cousins was in the car that was followed, but the car didn't get shot up until after the hairstylist got out? Like, if the hairstylist didn't set her up, like, if she really didn't set her up, then we owe her an apology. But that shit just don't even sound right. If the car got followed with the intentions of getting shot up, why would they wait until you got out? And then the family saying they asked, like, you know, who you think could be involved in this. One of the guys that she named literally drives a white BMW. And to make matters worse, that same white BMW is in the background across the street from the gas station where they was at. Like, girl, that was the worst setup in history. You was better off not even getting in that car. But that just goes to show you how people will sit up and be around you and want to benefit off of you and want to shine with you, but really don't want you around. He literally hung out with that girl the whole night, got in the car knowing damn well the car was gonna get shot up, let them drop her off, get out the car happily, like, oh girl, I'll see you tomorrow, knowing damn well.
She posted it just hours before she died. Nobody watching it that night had any idea they were looking at the last thing she'd ever share. It's a simple Instagram story, split into 2 panels. In the first, she's at some kind of gathering in a parking lot. Cars everywhere. People her age, music, the kind of loose, chaotic energy you only get on a holiday weekend. At one point, someone's throwing money out a car window, and people are laughing, filming, caught up in the moment. In the second panel, she's sitting inside a white car with a lavish interior, and the caption reads, "I been had her. Check my MySpace back then, I've been turn up." That's it. That's the last thing Brianna Johnson ever posted. A joke about her own history. A flex, a little bit of nostalgia thrown in for good measure. Nothing dark. Nothing that reads, in hindsight, like a warning. And that's exactly what makes it so hard to look at now. There's no cinematic foreshadowing here. No last cryptic message. Just a 21-year-old having a normal night. Joking around, completely unaware that a clock had already started counting down. Here's the detail that stops people cold once they actually notice it. Police told TMZ that the white sedan involved in the shooting resembled one of the vehicles in that very story. The same white car she's sitting inside just hours before, laughing, making jokes about her MySpace era. Whether that's the exact car that pulled up beside her later, or just a similar one caught in the wrong frame at the wrong time, nobody official has confirmed. But sit with that for a second. It's possible she filmed the vehicle involved in her own death without knowing it, hours before anyone pulled the trigger. That's the kind of detail that changes how you watch everything else. Now, let's talk about the gas station, because there's more to unpack here than just a fight broke out. Video that circulated online, shared initially through an Instagram account documenting the night, appears to show Brianna at the Shell station where the altercation happened. And here's the part worth slowing down on. In that footage, she does not appear to be involved in the fight itself. She's there. Her green Lamborghini is visible in frame. But whatever broke out that night, whoever was throwing punches or trading words, it doesn't look like it was her fight to begin with, which raises an uncomfortable question. If she wasn't part of it, why was the car she was riding in followed and shot at less than an hour later? There are really only a few possibilities here, and none of them are comfortable. Maybe the fight had nothing to do with the shooting at all, and this was 2 unrelated acts of violence colliding on the same brutal night, which would honestly be its own kind of tragic coincidence. Maybe someone in that fight decided the easiest way to retaliate wasn't against the person they fought, but against the flashiest, most visible target connected to them, a lime green Lamborghini being about as visible as it gets. Or maybe the fight was never really about her at all. Maybe she was simply in the wrong car at the wrong gas station, standing near the wrong dispute, and paid for it with her life anyway. Investigators haven't confirmed which of these it is. Chief Moss has said himself they're still trying to understand why that specific vehicle was targeted. But it's worth noticing how many of the worst outcomes in cases like this don't come from being the intended target. They come from being close to one. Let's talk about her for a minute. Not as a headline, but as a person who existed inside a specific kind of pressure most of us never have to think about. Being a public figure at 21 means your entire life becomes searchable. Every party you attend, every car you're photographed near, every person you're seen standing next to becomes content, whether you meant it to or not. Somebody is always filming. Somebody is always watching, and not always with good intentions. For most people, a stupid fight at a gas station on the 4th of July would be forgotten by the following weekend. For Brianna, it became evidence in a homicide investigation. Footage strangers online are dissecting frame by frame, days after her death. That's worth thinking about, because it changes how we should read everything that happened that night. She wasn't just a person at a party. She was a person whose proximity to other people's decisions could carry real, physical consequences, whether she caused those decisions or not, whether she even knew about them or not. Here's something worth sitting with, and it's less about this case specifically and more about how cases like this usually unfold. In a lot of unsolved shootings that turn out to be targeted rather than random, the answer doesn't come from a stranger. It comes from somewhere close. An ex, a falling out, someone who knew exactly where someone would be and when. That's not a claim about anyone connected to Brianna specifically. Nothing here points to a single person, but it's the kind of pattern investigators are trained to consider before they ever look outward. Proximity, more often than people expect, turns out to matter more than randomness. Whether that ends up being true here is something only the investigation can answer, not speculation, and definitely not us. Beyond what's been confirmed by police, there's also chatter circulating on social media claiming something happened even earlier in the night, before the group ever left that party, separate from anything officials have described. It hasn't been confirmed by police, by family, or by any established outlet. And the details vary depending on who's telling it. That's worth naming honestly rather than ignoring. But it's also exactly why we're not going to repeat the specifics here, as if they're established fact. When a case like this is still active, half-confirmed claims from individual social media accounts spread faster than actual verified information, and repeating them just adds another layer of noise investigators have to sort through, another rumor competing with the truth for attention, another thing detectives may have to waste time chasing down before they can rule it out. That's the strange thing about a case like this playing out in real time instead of being told after fact. Normally, true crime stories get handed to us already sorted. The rumors have already been separated from the facts. The wrong theories have already been discarded. Here, none of that sorting has happened yet. We're watching the raw version, contradictions and all, and it's genuinely difficult to know which detail is going to matter and which one is going to turn out to be noise. Which brings us back to that final Instagram story, because there's something almost unbearably human about it. She wasn't performing tragedy. She wasn't sensing danger. She was doing what she did most nights, making a joke, showing off a little, existing in the moment the way any 21-year-old at a party would. And somewhere in that same window of hours, someone made a decision that ended her life. Two completely different realities, running in parallel, and neither one aware of the other until they collided at an intersection in Miramar. That gap between the ordinary night she thought she was having and the ending nobody saw coming is the part of the story that sits the heaviest. It's not the gunfire. It's the joke about MySpace, posted with no idea it will be the last thing anyone ever heard from her. So let's bring this back to you, because this is a part where I want you thinking, not just watching. If she wasn't involved in that gas station fight, does that make this more disturbing, not less? A targeted attack against someone who may not have even been the intended target of the original conflict says something ugly about how violence spreads, how it doesn't stay contained to the people who started it. It reaches out and takes whoever happens to be standing closest. And here's a harder question underneath all of this. How much of what feels like closure in cases like this is actually just narrative, us wanting a clean story with villain and a motive, when the real answer might be something much messier? Two unrelated bad nights colliding. A car targeted for a reason that has nothing to do with anyone inside it. Sometimes the most disturbing truth isn't a twist. It's the absence of one. Randomness dressed up as intention, or the other way around. And no way to know which until someone finally gets arrested and tells the truth. If you have real information about what happened that night, not theories, not screenshots, not secondhand claims from an account you can't verify, Miramar police and Broward Crime Stoppers still want to hear it, and you can stay anonymous doing it. For the rest of you, I want your honest read. Coincidence or consequence. Wrong place, wrong time, or something that was always going to find her one way or another. Say in the comments. And say it like you'd want someone to treat your own theory carefully without turning it into an accusation against a real person. If this one got under your skin the way it got under ours putting it together, subscribe to Mystora Crimes and stay close, because the moment there's a real update on this case, an arrest, a name, an answer, we'll be the ones bringing it to you straight. Until then, be careful out there.